Hey, it's Soul with another video, and today I'm going to slow walk you through the Horrific Visions of Stormwind. This is an intermediate guide that assumes you've at least done the introduction to the 2025 version of Horrific Visions and want some intel on the bad guys beating your face in. I'm going to take you section by section and show you where to find all the important bits. Please like the video if it's helpful, subscribe for more WoW coverage, and catch me wherever I'm live. The Horrific Vision of Stormwind has 5 sections. You start in the Cathedral area and progress to 4 other sections with a little bit of stuff in between. The Dwarven District and Trade District are called Corrupted areas. Old Town and the Mage Quarter are called Lost areas and are generally tougher than the Corrupted areas. I'm going to take you through the route I made for myself personally, and you can use the navigation thing below to get to where you want to go. Starting in the Cathedral area, you'll first encounter crawling corruptions and enthralled footmen. The corruptions don't really do anything. In fact, they can be a distraction because they tend to move slowly and they take a while to catch up. The footman uses an ability to reduce damage taken, but otherwise both are forgettable mobs. Up ahead is a fallen void speaker. These are priority targets as they have a long-range mind flay that slows you down and a psychic scream that'll fear you all stupid. Focus these down while cleaving down whatever else is around you. Fallen Heart Piercers use a normal shoot attack and a big railgun kind of attack that you can dodge. Since these can't be interrupted, you'll have to take them head on or use line of sight tactics to reposition them. Shortly into your vision adventures, you'll chance upon this area where you find a corpse lying next to a potion. Now, you want to remember the color of that potion and wherever possible, drink potions that are not of that color. These potions can give helpful buffs or even 100 sanity, which is very useful in harder difficulties. So again, look at the potion, that one is bad, everything else is good. You want to take a glance in this direction each time when starting off on your Stormwind visions. Moving on, these fallen Riftwalkers guard the door to Ilaria, the final boss in Stormwind visions. They blink and they cast a big shockwave, as well as cast Shadow Shift, which you can kick. It otherwise creates a large damage bubble and it's pretty annoying. Depending on your gear and comfort level, you can pull maybe more than half of this entire section, line of sight and just AoE everything down. I suggest focusing first on the Void Speakers and then the Rift Walkers while cleaving off everything else. Your damage taken can be pretty high while prepping for this pull, so you'll want to watch your life. But hey, it's 2025. If you screw up, just queue up and try again, it's no sweat. In my route, I progressed to the Dwarven District next. It's usually a good idea to defeat mobs you pass by to ensure you leave combat. Defeat the gnomes across the bridge, then hang a left and then right to the Dwarven District. Your objective is to plant a bunch of bombs before defeating the boss, and there are a few ways to approach this. Now I'm just a dumb tank, so I just ride around picking everything up and I AoE all of it down. But let's be reasonable and go over what some of these mobs do, which thankfully isn't much in this section. New mobs here include enthralled weaponsmiths who do a kind of flame shotgun attack, fallen taskmasters and laborers who just melee for the most part, and fearless willbreakers. There's these Akir looking dudes who fire off AoE attacks to avoid. The mini-boss here, who happens to be in the middle of everything, is Forge Guard Herzl, who deals moderate melee damage and casts Entropic Leap, where he leaps onto the area you were just at and deals damage to both health and sanity, so you want to just keep moving during the sequence, because he casts it 3 times, so you want to practice his AoE radius to limit your movement and keep your damage up on him. There are numerous places where you can utilize line of sight, and there are multiple areas to clear so you can plant these bombs. I suggest grabbing as many mobs as you're comfortable with, minus the Akir and the mini-boss, and the AoE everything down. Once you feel comfortable enough, try and grab the rest using as few pulls as possible to save time. Once everything's dead, plant the bombs, and progress to the next objective where you can counter a boss. The attacks are very basic. He drops bombs that can be kicked away, sort of like the underpin, or you can stand away from him, and he deals a front AoE cone. Get away from them circles and the breath, and he'll be down in no time. Once defeated, the door behind him opens and we can leave the Dwarven District. If you're new to Visions, I suggest taking the portal back to the Cathedral and then to the Trade District. In this footage though, we're going to go to Old Town, so let's go. Once again, you want to clear everything on the way over to avoid being stuck in combat and click to open the way in. You'll immediately be ambushed by a pair of light hunters who slow you down. Defeat them and then hang a right to encounter a mini-boss, Armsmaster Terranson. She casts Blade Flourish, which you need to stand out of, followed by Roaring Blast, which you can either sidestep or run through to avoid. You want to be careful here, the tight space can catch you off guard, and running too far away from the Blade Flourish leaves you less room to avoid the cone. Once defeated, go back to where we came and go down the other path. Informants here are a new mob who cast nukes, but most importantly, a channeled stun if it's allowed to go off, so they're super priority targets going down this alleyway. You'll also encounter a Will Breaker and cultist Shadow Blades who also slow you down. Finally, there's an Executioner mob who can deal very high damage in higher difficulties. If you're trying to speed through, you want to focus on the Informants first, then the Executioner, and then cleave everything else down. Now you can make your way to this infested mini-boss guy, or whatever his name is. He mostly deals AoE to avoid. They look like these tentacles here. He also casts a large AoE circle targeted onto you that cannot be avoided, so prepare to take a bit of sanity damage. Once he goes down, mop up the remaining mobs by the boss door and click the pedestal to progress to Shaw. He's accompanied by eyeballs that deal minimal sanity damage if looking directly at them, so you want to keep your back facing them while engaging Shaw. Periodically, he'll disappear and spawn AoE circles to avoid that go in one direction. He'll then reappear and re-engage, so you want to use that time while dodging stuff to position yourself in a way you can attack him without facing those eyeballs. More of them will appear as the fight progresses, and for the most part, you'll spend your time repositioning while trying to get a clear shot. With him finally defeated, a portal will open, just jump through that to return to the Cathedral. We're heading to the Trade District now. You want to go south and clear your way through the outside path towards the Trade District. Once you enter, hang a left and down the alley, picking up a few mobs along the way. Burrowing appendages are a priority mob because they're very resilient. They burrow often and are easy to forget about, meaning by the time you clear the other mobs, these damn tentacles might still be at high health, keeping you in combat. Cultist slave drivers deal high damage in a small area, you want to dodge those. Faceless shadow callers are casters who deal some easy to dodge AoE, and cultist tormentors are also casters who pulse an AoE, which if grouped with other tormentors can deal extremely high damage to you. So you want to be kind of careful trying to mass pull so many different casters. Prioritize the tormentors first, followed by chasing tentacles, and everything else will go down on their own. Over here, Inquisitor Darkspeed casts Agonizing Torment, which is direct sanity damage, but it can be kicked. He uses it often though, so prepare to take a few hits of sanity damage. He also casts Converts, which reduces healing taken, so if you happen to be doing a mass pull including this mini-boss, you want to use defensives to survive in case he casts Convert. Pulling this area can be messy because of the numerous casters and the tentacles burrowing around. It's easy to get nuked before getting all the mobs in position, so you might want to practice with smaller pulls before going all crazy. The boss here toward the end will spawn phantom tentacles that slam an area in the form of swirlies and cast Chains of Servitude, which silences you and pulls you towards him. If you're pulled close enough, he'll deal high sanity damage, so you want to be careful dodging it while avoiding tentacle slams. And all the more if you're trying to bring mobs in for a speedier clear. With this one dead, you're now tasked to free prisoners throughout the area. Take the time to seek out good potions to drink, and then exit west to progress towards the Mage Quarter. The Mage Quarter can be rough because of the regular patrolling mobs, which can suddenly put you in combat. Anyway, when you enter, clear the way and head left. Go up the path and you'll reach the clearing where the Mage Tower is. Your objective is to defeat some special portal mobs before heading in to the boss. The path to the left includes a Portal Master, which you have to hunt multiples of, and a Greater Void Elemental. They cast a Void Buffet, which doubles your shadow damage taken. You can take this pack on alone, or grab them with the mini-boss to the right. Now, this mini-boss can be one of the hardest pulls here, as this mini-boss spawns a whole bunch of swirlies to avoid and casts a breath that will wreck your sanity if you're caught in it. Couple that with the possible affixes to deal with, which restrict movement, and you have a good reason why maybe you should do this side of Stormwind first instead of the second like I do, but oh well. Once defeated, you need to defeat the other Portal Masters. One is located just on the opposite end of this room. Then you want to backtrack towards where you first came from, but instead run through this building here, and at the other end is another Portal Master. Once defeated, proceed west and turn left. Enter the building on your right, run through to encounter another Portal Master. Now there's one more to go. You want to keep going west and hang another left to encounter this mini-boss. Now he doesn't do much, he just casts Rain of Fire to avoid, he summons ads, and casts Shadow Bolt. Once he's defeated, backtrack the way you came now that it's mostly clear of mobs, and back to the Mage Tower. Climb up the tower and enter the portal room where the boss is located. You want to watch out. He casts Entropic Missile, which should be kicked to avoid sanity damage, but he'll also cast Polymorph, which should definitely be kicked. At certain health percentages, he'll teleport to one side of the room and then to the other. You want to run over to him while avoiding his little shockwaves to re-engage. He'll do this one more time before being defeated. To exit, leave the room, and you'll see a portal to the Cathedral just outside. And now for Ilaria. She has a few basic base abilities. Darkened Sky spawns a bunch of void circles to avoid. She'll jump to the middle of the room and cast Void Eruption, dealing heavy health and sanity damage unless you hide behind a pillar. Depending on the bosses you defeated, which might be all of them, she'll gain an ability from each of them. She can lay down exploding bombs, she casts a polymorph that you can't line of sight and have to interrupt, she casts the chains that pull you in and is always accompanied by an eyeball you can't let look at you. It's a lot that overlaps, never mind the sanity bar slowly ticking down despite your best efforts. Your biggest priorities are to interrupt her polymorph so you don't get caught in other overlapping abilities. Unless your sanity is really low, you can DPS through the sanity damage the eyeball inflicts. You'll defeat her well before the eyeball is really threatening, just don't get hit by anything else. Once you've defeated all 5 bosses for the first time, you'll receive a quest that gives you your first mask. These things raise the difficulty of visions when you activate it from the altars down in the staging area. This first mask is called the Long Night, which cuts your sanity in half. It's pretty devastating, especially during the early stages. But now you have some new objectives available now that you have this one mask. Let's go over them. Re-enter the vision with one mask and progress to this point here in Stormwind. Defeat this pack of mobs and click to receive a mask new to visions, the Mask of Vengeance. This activates a bolstering effect on mobs, which can be really devastating, but it's an easier mask to work with for the sake of unlocking more features. Next step, you want to clear Old Town while wearing one mask, and it could be any mask, really. You don't even have to defeat Ilaria, you can just get yourself killed after completing this objective. In the exit room, you'll be awarded the Mask of the Pained, which activates 2 affixes simultaneously during visions. Next, head over to the Mage Quarter, but just before entering, click on this wanted poster and rip it off. Hogger will spawn, defeat him and loot the shard he drops. This will lead you to unlocking another mask later. It's very important because it helps visions get a lot easier. Now progress to the Mage Quarter and clear it. Once again, you don't need to defeat Ilaria or other bosses. This will award you the Mask of Dark Imagination, which spawns a mob when you're down to half sanity. Finally, I don't have super exact verification here, but while wearing one mask, killing nearly all mobs in a vision and completing the vision will award the Mask of Multitudes. So I'll share what I did. I cleared all the normally visible mobs in each of the 5 sections. I also cleared the little pustules and extra mobs between the corrupted areas and defeated the rares patrolling there, including the one you use a toy train set to distract and then defeat. The Mask of Multitudes, which adds a ton of extra mobs to visions, is like the worst and kind of best mask ever, and a reason why I might need to make a second walkthrough guide for advanced players just for this mask. But hey, you got it anyway. The last thing I want to leave is a tip. You're able to hard farm the tributes shown in the staging area. These tributes offer very powerful buffs, including gaining sanity back from defeating elites. You can farm this with 0 mask activated if you want to, so if you're up for a grind, do this to make your life a lot easier in the long run. That's the guide, and I hope that it helps, but just in case I made any errors, please let me know in the comments. Please like the video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.